What is good, guys, man? Thank y'all for tuning back into the channel. If you're new, make sure you hit that sub button down below to be notified for every single video that I drop. How to be notified for every video that I drop? You have to hit that bell. And once you hit that bell, you're going to see all. Press all, and that bell should turn white. That's how you know you'll be notified, man. Y'all see what the title is, man. She's definitely telling a creepy story from my childhood about Freemasons. She has like 5 stories to this, man. If y'all want all 5 stories, I can definitely do that after y'all see this. But we only watching part 1 and part 2 right now. Comment down below if you want the other 3 stories. I definitely do it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Y'all comment down below what y'all think. Let's get it.
One story time of creepy shit that happened to me as a kid. Okay, so when I was about maybe 10 or 11 years old, me and my mom used to travel back and forth from North Carolina to South Carolina to see one of her closest best friends, and his name was Uncle George for this video. It was Uncle George. So we would go back and forth from North Carolina to South Carolina to see my Uncle George. My Uncle George was kind of like in the streets, and he hung around some very sketchy people. So he lived in a little town named Kershaw, South Carolina. And we used to go there, and in Kershaw, if you have ever been to that part of South Carolina, it has like 3 stoplights at the most and a motel. So we used to stay down there at the little motel. I remember the guy that owned it. I think his last name was Mr. Patel. So we used to go and stay in that, little motel. And my Uncle Floyd, that night that we got there, I'll never forget it. Like I said, it was a Friday night. And, he used to be happy to see us every time that we came. And, he used to bring like some friends with him to meet my mom and shit like that, because they've been friends for a long time, So like I said, he lived a sketchy lifestyle. They engaged in illegal activities and did, drugs and all of that type of stuff. But him and my mom were still very close friends. So I'll never forget this night. He bought a friend, and the friend name for this video will be Steven. Okay, Steven was a white guy. He was probably like 5'8". I'll never forget how he looked. He had tattoos all over his body. From first impression, like as a kid, it was cool. He looked cool. Like everything about him was cool. He had like a swagger about himself, very soft spoken. And I'll never forget. Now, keep in mind, back then in motels, they usually had either 1 bed or, 2 beds. So our motel had 2 beds, one for me, one for my mom. So they were all sitting outside the motel room, and they were smoking and, drinking, doing what they do. And I was a kid, so I had to stay inside the motel. And I remember when they got done doing whatever they was doing outside, they came inside the hotel. And he was just staring at me. Now, this is my Uncle George's friend, Steven. He was just staring at me the whole time. So my mom ended up saying, "Why do you keep staring at her? Is there like an issue? Is there a problem?" And this man gonna say, "I keep staring at her because I've seen her in many different lifetimes." And my mama looked at him like, "Boy, what is you talking about?" And he started going into detail about his family being Masons, and how he was like a 32nd degree Mason, and his dad was like a 33-degree Mason master at, some Masonic lodge. So at this point, my mom got very curious, because my mom was very spiritual. She was very tapped in with herself as well. She seen stuff, she knew stuff that she shouldn't know. Like, she was very tapped in with herself. So at this point, my mom got curious. So she said, "Tell me more." And he said, "Well, long story short is, Masons are trying to create the Antichrist." And he said, "If I tell people this, they think I'm crazy. They think I'm crazy." He said, "That's why I do drugs, to stop the thoughts." And she was like, "What thoughts are you having?" And he said, "I hear stuff. I see stuff. I know stuff that I'm not supposed to know." And then she was like, "Well, how do you know stuff that you're not supposed to know if you're a Mason? Like, I'm not understanding what you're saying." He was like, "I unlocked so much knowledge when I agreed to go up the ranks in Masonry." So we was all like, and keep in mind, I'm a kid, so I'm just looking like, at this point, like, what's really going on? So he started explaining that when he got sworn in as a 32-degree Mason, that he sold his soul to the devil. And when he sold his soul to the devil, he started getting downloads immediately about stuff that he should not know. So I remember like my mom was like, "Oh yeah, nah, we not doing."
Man, me and my best friend, man, we was definitely talking about this day before yesterday, man. A lot of people think that, Freemasons are a brotherhood that helps out a lot of people. I really don't know too much about it, man, but I feel like deeply down in my spirit that it's definitely something wrong with it. But hey, man, let her tell her story.
That because we black and we don't play that shit. Sow your soul to who, what, when, where. So my uncle was like, at this point, my uncle George was like, "Hey, I'm interested, man. Keep talking. Like, what you got going on? Like, I ain't know nothing about none of this." And he was like, "It's something about your little girl." He was like, "I've seen her in plenty lifetimes. She has a old ancient soul." And he looked me in my face and he told me, he said, "In the years to come, everything about you is going to be unlocked. Your powers is going to be unlocked. You're going to be able to know stuff, see stuff." He said you will be able to see beyond the galaxies. He said you'll be able to shift time, you'll be able to travel different dimensions, you'll be able to do everything that we're looking for. And one day they're going to come and look for you. So make sure you're ready. At this point, my mom's getting nervous. Like, ain't nobody coming to look for my fucking child. Like, what you got going on? So he continues to go on and talk, and he said, "You have a more masculine energy about yourself than feminine energy." He said, "Don't be afraid of it. Embrace yourself. Become who you're becoming." But he said, "Your people are going to have to protect you with everything they love." He said, "Because the older you get, the wiser you're going to get, and the more you're going to know, and the more you're going to see, and the more they're going to come after you." He said, "You have a glow about yourself that's almost outer worldly." And I'm just looking at him like, the fuck is he talking about? But the funny thing about everything, like my whole life, I've always like had lucid dreams. I've always been able to like travel in my dreams. Like it's weird as fuck. Like I used to be afraid to sleep by myself because I would see stuff in my dreams that seemed so real and I would wake up crying, or I would always experience sleep paralysis as a kid. Like as a little kid, I couldn't move when I was sleeping, and it scared me because I used to feel like something was in the room with me, something was watching me. I couldn't wake up. And I remember I used to think positive and start praying, and I would bring myself out of it as a kid. And so I started thinking about all of this shit that I was experiencing. My mom knew what I would experience. So she was just kind of just sitting there, just staring off into space. So he basically told me that I had been here, like I had been here plenty of times in my life. And every time that I come back, I don't complete what I'm supposed to complete. So I keep coming back. And he said, there's going to be a time that there's going to be a spiritual war against dark and light. And I'm going to be on the light side, and I'm going to play a significant role. And literally, that's all he said. And the last thing he said before he walked out, because at that point, my mom was just telling my Uncle George to get him and they need to leave. Because
Oh man, it's a lot of dark energy out here praying on the light, man. For the people that is following God, man, it's a lot of dark energy on praying on the light, man. And that light gonna outweigh that darkness, man. That's why, man, like when it's a light coming around a lot of dark energy, that's why you look like the oddball out of everybody, man, because it's definitely something different about you, man. Definitely something different about you. Let's continue, man. Let's continue.
she was creeped out. Like, boy, what are you talking about? And he looked at me and he said, when the time come, you'll know when you're ready. He said, trust yourself, believe yourself. And I'm just still looking at him like as a 10-year-old kid, like, what is he talking about? Y'all, tell me why 2 weeks later, this man unalived himself. He unalived himself 2 weeks later. And I remember my Uncle George calling my mom on the phone, telling her, that he had unalived himself and he had left a note. And his note said a whole bunch of stuff about him selling his soul and how he couldn't stop the voices and to protect that girl because all he keeps seeing is what's to come and they're going to come for her. Protect that girl. Y'all, I've thought about that shit every day of my life. Even nowadays, like I think about what this man said to me and the fact that he unalived himself based off what he was seeing and what he was feeling. Like it was just so fucking weird. But Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. And I don't really know anything about Freemasons. I've never like done a deep dive on Freemasonry and nothing they got going on because it's never really concerned me. And once I heard that, I was kind of creeped out and wanted to stay away from it because all knowledge ain't good knowledge. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. And let me know if y'all want the rest of the parts for creepy shit that happened to me when I was a kid. Because so much weird shit happened to me growing up that some people might think that I'm lying or some people might think that I'm making it up. But I'm dead ass serious. Like, let me know if y'all want part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of creepy shit that happened to me as a kid, y'all. So if y'all watch
That was
part
crazy. That
one
was
of
crazy.
creepy shit that happened to me as a kid, here's part two. So about a year after that incident happened, I began to have really, really vivid dreams. Like I was already, having vivid dreams and, you know, lucid dreaming, and I had very bad sleep paralysis growing up, and I honestly experienced it really bad a couple of years ago before my mom passed away. But that's another story for another day. So I started having these repeating dreams of this man with a cowboy hat on. He always had a cowboy hat, a white cowboy hat with white cowboy boots. He had jeans and like a flannel shirt. And he would show up in my dreams and he would always talk to me in my dreams, but I could not understand what he was saying because there was nothing coming out of his mouth, but I could understand what he was saying. Like it was almost like he was speaking to my mind and my mind was speaking to his. So it was like we was communicating in some other way. It was very fucking weird. So I had these dreams for like 3 months straight. And I remember I used to wake up and tell my mom, and she used to say that he was trying to tell me something and I needed to listen because, as I mentioned, my mom was very spiritual as well. And she, always believed that dreams tell you something, that when you dream, you enter another dimension. So you have to listen to what your dreams are saying, especially when you wake up and remember them. So one night we were going back home, and home at that point, we were staying in a homeless shelter because we fell on bad times and my mom still did what she had to do for us to get to where we needed to be. So we stopped at a bank, and my dad had sent child support money, so she was going to the bank to pull out the child support money that my dad had sent us. And I remember that there was a man standing on the corner, and he had a white cowboy hat and he had white boots on. And I'll never forget because my mom noticed the man first, and she pointed it out and was like, there's like this awkward man just standing on the corner looking at us. And we was sitting at the ATM, and I remember we looked over at this man, y'all, and we got ready to pull off. He was gone. So at that point, like, my mom was like, she's asking my brother, did she see the man? Did he see the man? Did he see the man? And he said, no, I didn't see no man standing there. So the only two people that seen the man was me and my mama. So as that week went on, keep in mind we're homeless at the time. As that week went on, a man had called my mom about a house that she applied for because my mom was a felon, so she really had a hard time finding housing because, background checks and shit like that. And he told her that he had a house come open and he was a private landlord, and if she wanted it, she could have it, right? So when we got there, this man had a picture sitting on his desk of another man standing beside him with a white cowboy hat on. So my mom looked at the picture and was like, who is this man? And he was like, that's my uncle. He passed away like 10 years ago. And then she was like, interesting. So we ended up getting a house and we ended up moving in the house. And when we moved in this house, y'all, when I say that my dreams amplified 1,000 fucking times, it was so fucking crazy. Like, I would dream this man every single night, repeatedly, different dreams, but he was always in the dream every single night. But every time he was in the dream, it was like he was trying to tell me something. It was never anything bad. I wasn't scared of him. It was just kind of like he was trying to relay a message to me in a sense. But the more the dreams happened, I would wake up and not remember like what he said to me. So fast forward, probably about 8 months to 9 months later, one of my mom's close family friends, he passed away. We ended up going to the funeral, and when we got to the funeral, we were on the way back home that night, and we was going down a long dark road, and we got to a corner in a city, and it was dark. Like, it was the middle of the night because we were going back home, and we lived like almost 2 hours away, so we were going home and it was dark. and we seen the man with the cowboy hat and the boots walking across the street. So my mom was like, I'm gonna stop him. I'm gonna turn the car around and stop him because we were at the stoplight and he walked across the street. So she tried to turn the car around. Y'all tell me why when she turned the car around, he was gone. Like this man, it's like he would disappear in thin fucking air. Then like he would just disappear. So we get back to the house, and I remember my mom called one of her close friends, and she was like a medium, so she could really like tell us stuff that we didn't really understand. God rest her soul, by the way, she passed away a couple of years ago. So she would tell us stuff, and she told us that this man wasn't coming, he wasn't showing himself to harm us or to scare us, that he would only show up in our life when bad stuff was about to happen, to warn us what was to come. And since the night that my mom called her medium friend, y'all, I haven't saw this man since, and I've always wondered what it was he really wanted to say and what it was he was really trying to relay. If y'all have any idea, like if y'all had any similar experiences with, people contacting you from the other side or having repeating dreams, and somehow I don't know how this man even attached himself to me or what he was trying to say to me. I don't even know where he came from. It was just like, I don't know. It was like we had this weird attachment though. Like he knew me. Like he knew me and I knew him. I just don't know where I knew him from. But if y'all know anything or anything similar has happened to y'all, please let me know in the comments, because still to this day, I'm still wondering about this man. And the craziest part about it, my mom passed away in 2020, August the 8th, 8 2020. My mom passed away, and she was one of the most intuitive people that I've ever known in my life. And 2 weeks before my mom passed away, I seen this man in my dream. I seen this man in my dream, and it was almost like deja vu. Like I was seeing him all over again. He was trying to tell me something. And 2 weeks later, my mom passed away. So I don't know if he comes in times of, pain and distress and try to warn me, or if he tries to comfort me. I don't know, y'all. It's weird, but that's my part two story time. Like and comment for part three. I got a lot more shit to tell y'all, and I'm gonna tell y'all in chronological order of everything that happened to me from the age that I was about 10 years old all the way up to my adulthood now. Comment and like on the video and let me.
Oh man, I genuinely like her storytelling, man. I know it's real. I know it's genuine. Y'all comment down below exactly what y'all think, man. We definitely gonna listen to 3, 4, and 5. Y'all comment down below if y'all want 3, 4, and 5. And stay prayed up, man. Stay prayed up, man, because for the people that is not woke, that is not focused and is distracted by the world, really focus, man, and give your life to God. Like I'm just being 100% honest right now, man. You may be watching me right now and scrolling through YouTube, TikTok, and all that stuff like that, but you gotta know that these apps are another distraction. You know what I'm saying? So take some time out. You know what I'm saying? Give God some time throughout your day and put your phone down, man, for an hour or two or something like that, man. Just zone out of the world and really just lock in and focus on God, man. You gotta do that, or you will. You'll start going crazy for real, man. But anyways, at the end of my video, so I will say stay inspired, stay motivated, stay grinding. Until the next video, I'm out of here. Peace.